Hi there. I'm going to be referring to some sheets of paper here while I'm talking because I'm not really, a speech maker or an actor or anything like that. So I wrote this whole thing down first. So I'll be referring to that from time to time. All right. But, hi there. My name's Chris. I'm 51 years old, married, 2 kids, and right now it is the spring of 2016. Both my kids are, just about at college age, and I'm an American. Now, depending on your math, that makes me either one of the last of the baby boomers or one of the first of Generation X. Whatever. I'd like to talk to all of you Americans out there younger than me. I am what we used to call solidly middle class. Right down to the college degree, the job, and, the middle-age spread. Except that being middle class isn't exactly what it used to be. I don't have a mortgage. I rent. My debts are laughingly higher than my income, and my income's pretty good. And with my kids going to college, my debts, they're increasing at a time when I should be getting everything about paid off. I could probably afford a home with my income, but that would mean a lot more debt. And I'm just not interested anymore. Now, hey there, kids. That's what you've got to look forward to. Owing more money than you make, even as an older grown-up, and no end in sight. It's not fair. It's supposed to be the job of my generation to make this all better for you, and we failed you. Instead of dealing with real problems like infrastructure and equality and growing opportunities for everyone, we've mostly spent the last 35 years making ourselves stupider. Bowing to the singular idea that everything we do should be something that someone makes money from. It's hardly a new idea, and in principle, there's nothing wrong with it either. I mean, you want to get rich? Go out there and, by God, get rich. But we made cuts to education so that schools would have to raise their prices. We made cuts to the military so that businesses would do the work our military used to do. We make equality harder to attain by protecting the rights of people who didn't need any help. We latched on to economic ideas whose basic principle can be boiled down to the idea that greed is good. Greed can be good for a person. Greed is not good for a country. So the question is, how do we fix it? How do we reverse this trend? Well, let me ask you a question in return. Does it look like we are going to fix it? Does it look like my generation is getting the job done? I hate to break it to you, but despite the best efforts of a lot of us, you probably shouldn't rely on us to get the job done. So I'm asking all of you to vote. I'm asking all of you to vote as liberally as your conscience will allow. Why? Well, because it's 2016, and my generation needs to be dragged into the modern age. Because my generation has been conservative in far too many elections, and we've dragged you all into this mess. Because almost every problem that I've discussed so far is the fault of conservative thinking. Conservatism has been given a long time to work. More than 40 years, and it simply hasn't. Now, I've heard from a lot of people younger than me that they want to skip voting in this election because it's a damn circus. And I can't fault you for thinking that, but it's simply not a good excuse. I mean, while this might be the craziest election I've ever seen, guess what? They're all circuses. I mean, working our way back from the last presidential election, we have Obama versus Scrooge McDuck, light. Mr. Hope and Change versus Cranky McWhite Guy. The war criminal versus the most boring war hero ever. America versus the Supreme Court. The Playa versus Cranky Third Person Guy. Mr. Hope versus Mr. Out of Touch, who was formerly Mr. Legacy. Mr. Legacy versus, what's his name? Mr. Stand Tall versus the hamburger ad. The Actor versus the Malays. The Partner versus the Peanut Farmer. The Crook versus, well, you get the idea. Now, those 40 years now just went I can't even talk about it. These 40 years just went by in a confused blur, didn't they? Once upon a time, we elected statesmen. General Dwight D. Eisenhower, John F. Kennedy. Although we've come close a couple of times, no one in my lifetime has reached the heights these men could reach, and the reason why is simple. Government has fewer resources than it once did. Taxes are much lower now than they were when we built up our nation, from the embers of World War, creating the infrastructure of our nation's roads and highways, bringing plumbing and electricity and phone service to every citizen, and created a real middle class and even raced to the moon. People who complain about high taxes are just trying to keep more for themselves or get more for themselves. The truth is that taxes are lower than at any point, even in my lifetime. And as a result, the country can't pay for things that great statesmen can accomplish. And as a result, those statesmen just don't get great. And also, it doesn't help that people in an elected office have lost all pretense of having any respect for anyone else in elected office. These past 8 years have been the first time in my lifetime that a president's policies have been opposed simply because he exists. Governance is about compromise. American government is about meeting somewhere towards the middle so that everything can continue to function. We have sent far too many people to run things in Washington and in the various state houses as well, who are so against compromise that they aren't actually doing the jobs we elected them to. In salaries and benefits alone, these people make more money than I do, and I'm doing all right. Hardly seems fair. It's not. Anyone who promised you fair was lying. And the big lie has been that we can function on smaller government. This is a backlash against the bloated government we once had before any of us, including me, were born. But we've reached a point a long time ago now where the reaction has become an overreaction. We've tried for almost my entire lifetime to run the country with a smaller and smaller government, with the promise that business will pick up the slack. Well, they haven't picked up the slack, and it's time to stop waiting for it to happen. It's not going to, and saying it over and over again doesn't make it any more true. People in power seem to believe that saying something over and over again makes it true, and they've won elections and set policies by it. We've gone to war over it. Who cares how big or small government is as long as it works? We need to do something about it, and the one thing you need to understand is that my generation isn't doing it. We've had lots of chances, we're just not getting it done. And if you don't believe me, ask a soldier about their experiences with the Veterans Administration. So I'm asking it of you. Vote for Democrats, vote for liberals, vote for progressives. Vote for people who will throw money at the problem because, believe it or not, it almost always works when greed doesn't get in the way. Just look at the auto industry. Vote for people who want to increase spending on education, on healthcare, on infrastructure, on veterans, on the arts, on doing something about great, unimaginable things. There are things that matter to you. Vote for these people in every race on the ballot. Vote for people who listen to experts, not people who pay for experts. Vote for smart people. Vote for people who understand that the word theory has more than one definition. Vote for people who read, and do some reading yourself while you're at it. Vote for people who don't mix up social issues and moral issues. Vote for people who want to help everyone, including people who didn't vote for them. Vote for people who respect our soldiers and our military more than people making money off of military missions. Vote for people who want to help and not hide behind excuses. The money is there. Anyone who tells you otherwise just simply isn't willing to spend it. Rich people stay rich because they don't spend money. Scrooge McDuck, it's not a parody, he's an instruction manual. I mean, look at the very rich in this country and see how much money they spend just so that they don't have to give up more. It's millions and millions of dollars, all spent in the pursuit of keeping millions and billions for themselves. You want everything to be better, then be better. Be better than we were. It's not fair, but you're not saving us. We're screwed. You're saving yourselves. You're going to be here longer than we are, so don't be afraid to exploit that. We were. Look what it got us. Make the world you want, and don't wait for our approval. We're pretty slow at making decisions, you might have noticed. Besides, you know whose taxes are going to be going up if you do this? Mine. Mine. Not yours, mine. The odds are pretty good I make more money than you do. Not because I'm a better person, but just because I'm older and have worked my way up through trial and error to a position where I have responsibilities, all of which comes with time. That's just how it works. You'll catch up to me someday, and hopefully you're going to even pass me. When you're my age, you can pay those taxes. But for now, make the world you want and deserve. It'll be the most patriotic thing my generation has done in a long, long time. It won't be easy. Hell, it's going to be hard. It's going to take years and many elections, and quite frankly, people my age have less of them left. So we tend not to think about that and think about the short term instead. That's a mistake, and we made it long, long ago, too long ago to fix it ourselves. It'll take vigilance. The people who came before you will fight it with everything they've got. They'll call you astonishingly insulting names. Some will come off as friends in an attempt to sway you. Some will actually be your friends who have already been swayed. They will try to belittle you by calling you outside of the mainstream. If you're so far outside of the mainstream, why is every advertiser on the planet aiming their ads at you? Feel free to exploit that. You are the mainstream. The Republican Party of today, the party of Donald Trump, Ted Cruz, Paul Ryan, and everyone else helping to prop it up, are an extinction level event. The Republicans, they aren't what they once were, and you've got to fight that with everything you've got. So do I. So do we all, and it's shockingly easy. All it takes is a bit of action on the first Tuesday after the first Monday in November. Don't stay home. They want you to stay home. So, to sum it all up, vote. Vote for people who think forward. Vote in every race, on every ballot measure. You're going to be my age, staggeringly fast, faster than you'll believe. So do everything that you can to make things better for yourselves. Participate. My generation has made an impact. Do us one better. How about you leave a legacy? Thanks for listening. Thanks for thinking.